So here we are, we're at the 2022 HPBA Expo. It's in Atlanta, Georgia this year. We're just finishing up the show. It's been a pretty good show for us. It's the first show in 2 years, as they were virtual only last year. 2 years ago, we had a booth at the 2020 Expo in New Orleans, and at that point, we only had one product, right?
Fireboard 1, it was the original first generation Fireboard we came out with in 2016.
So that product had a 4-year or more life cycle. And so in the last 2 years, in these unprecedented times, Fireboard hasn't stayed still. We have innovated, and since then, since that show 2 years ago, we've introduced several new products, and technically 4 major products in those 2 years, which is pretty impressive. Ted sent an email this week to our employees congratulating them on that accomplishment, and I didn't even realize that at the time. I was like, oh my goodness, we've done a lot of stuff in 2 years, which is fantastic. And so we thought we'd take this opportunity here at this show to go through those new products, just to give you an idea of what Fireboard has accomplished over the last couple of years. So Fireboard 1, or the original Fireboard, became what?
Yeah, so the first generation Fireboard, which still had 6 channels, this is now the Fireboard 2. So the main thing was really make a beautiful screen. So this is really unbelievable, right? Compared to the first. People, people see the original Fireboard. It's like this little itty bitty, and it was functional, but this really looks nice. And you can actually, there's a mode on here. That's a pretty neat screen where you can see that. You can be inside, look outside on your patio, and you can actually see this temperature. But so Fireboard 2, and actually maybe I should take a real quick step back. So we kind of came about Fireboard 2 with a request from a pizza oven company to do thermocouples.
Oh.
And which kind of started us down this road of just re-engineering the next generation Fireboard.
Right.
And so we had this idea, we would make it with these 3 or 4 Type K thermocouple probes. Right. But then we thought, we need to redo the whole Fireboard anyway.
Right.
So let's make that as one of the series, basically. So this is really, Fireboard 2 has 3. There's like the base model, the Fireboard 2 drive, which adds this little drive, basically the power and all the circuitry that's inside of it to run a fan.
Okay, and that's good for what kind of smokers?
It's really good for like Kamado or any live fire, right? Charcoal, wood.
Right.
Even an offset smoker if you can attach that fan somehow.
Right.
So all that power circuitry, which is a decent amount of extra stuff on the board, all that lives inside of here. So there's Fireboard 2 really is 3 products.
Right.
So that's, and I honestly didn't remember till we showed up here.
Right.
We hadn't even shown this before.
Right.
It's been out, almost 2 years, but it was right before the show.
Right.
We were working on prototypes. In fact, I think I was assembling a prototype in New Orleans.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I couldn't actually show it, obviously.
Right.
And I think in June, after that show in March, June is when we launched the Fireboard 2.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it was shortly after that.
Yep.
So again, you have the base Fireboard, then the Fireboard drive.
Yep.
And then the one with the high heat Type K thermocouples is called?
We call that Fireboard 2 Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thermocouples are super high. They're rated for super high temperatures.
Right.
So that's the main advantage.
Right.
More insulation, more fiberglass insulation.
Right.
And so you can use it for pizza ovens.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was the driving force behind,
it kind of started us down that road, yeah.
And then since then, just this year, last year, but the last few months, we've introduced a brand new product called?
This is Fireboard Spark.
Okay, cool.
And this is an instant read Fireboard. So you have a really nice screen and swivel out probe, super fast. This is a thermocouple probe as well. So you get that really fast, quick read.
So it'll do high heat as well, but you may not want to reach into the pizza oven too.
Right. But the cool thing with the Spark, it's not just an instant read thermometer. And this little door folds out, and now you've got a single channel Fireboard.
Okay.
So you can plug in our normal Fireboard probes.
Right. And
you can put this down on your grill. This operates just like a normal Fireboard.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Pretty slick.
Now, the one thing that I think is really cool about this is Fireboard sync mode.
Yep. So yeah, sync mode is, I actually love this feature.
Right.
Probably that's my favorite feature of the whole thing. And you can actually turn sync mode on And then if you're running a normal Fireboard, let's say you have your cook set up on the patio and you go back to the office, right? Normally you're kind of checking your phone. Of course, Fireboard, you can remote monitor, see all that on your phone.
Right.
But you can just set Spark on your desk and it actually shows your Fireboard temperatures. Whatever is active in your Fireboard account, it just shows you right on the screen. And it just sits there. I mean, it's a beautiful little device. You don't have to pull your phone, or if you're on your phone, you know, you can't see
cool.
it. So yeah, it's a fun feature.
That's really cool. So if you already have a Fireboard, getting the Fireboard Spark gives you even more capability, give you better monitoring, remote, you know, you just, not that the app is cool and that's really cool, but yeah, this is something you can just quickly look at without having to go through that hassle, so.
So it's been super exciting, Byron. Yeah, it's a fun show. I mean, and again, we didn't realize until we almost showed up here how many new things we had.
And so based on that, I suspect Fireboard is just gonna say, hey, we got some great products, we're just gonna rest and take a nap, and maybe in 3 or 4 or 5 years, we'll maybe think about doing something different. Is that true?
Right. No, we like new products, and I think everybody at Fireboard's passionate about technology, and they're excited about the fact that we can actually prototype these things quickly, and we can come out with new things. So there's always a few things cooking on the back burner. So.
Yeah, there's stuff cooking. So, all right, so that's what's going on here this year, 2022, at the HPBA Expo. Look for Fireboard in the near future to introduce new products because we're always innovating.
Thanks, Byron.
All right, thank you.